Well, well, well. I sit here January 18th, 2024, and once again, it's not the Cowboys' year. The Cowboys consistently win these 12 games per year. It's pretty good. And you would like that for a team. But I always tell the kids, I always tell my coworkers, I always tell my friends who are diehard Cowboy fans, I don't care about the regular season. I care about postseason. And once again, Stephen A lives on another day because the Cowboys have once again fumbled the bag. It's DT, it's Lady E, and you guys are watching Enter the Lab Podcast.
My fault. What happened? I'm eating Popeye.
This man says eating some Popeyes. Commercial.
Ready for a break.
Save this clip.
Wipe your hands. Wipe your hands. And
Commercial.
We over here about to die of thirst over here.
Thing on the menu today, bro, and that's work. That's work for 60 minutes, bro. That's the only job we got to do today, bro. What you playing for? What you playing for? What you playing for? What y'all?
Get real lonely with the mic on, bro. Just want to talk to my friend.
What's up, everybody? Welcome. This is Enter the Lab Podcast, presented by Red Zone DC Media on YouTube Live and on Twitter. Lady E, welcome. We are doing good this afternoon. I'm just going to tell y'all right now, I am partially cooked because I have been testing this whole week with these kids and stuff and been praying for them, to do good and in school, get the requirements in so they can graduate high school and walk down that aisle with that degree. So it's kind of been a rough week for me, but not that rough that I can't come up here and talk a little bit of football with you guys. Lady E, what's up with you?
Man, say. Speaking of high schoolers, my freshman that I have passed his first semester. We got him a nice, good little GPA going at the B average. So I am excited because I was praying for my baby. Y'all don't understand. I was praying for my baby.
Yeah.
So we got to finish this second semester out strong. And then I can't believe it. I'll have me a sophomore and a 15-year-old. Like, he getting old. And he almost tried to kill me driving. I just want to let that be known.
Boy, so as you guys can see, Henry, he's kind of on IR today. Had his procedure. He was telling us last month. So finally got through of it, and we're gonna pray for you, big bro, big OG. Hopefully you come back again. But let's go ahead and start. Already started the show. Already started the vibes, right? Last week we did our picks. C. Henry questioned me, was like, if this is about like the NFC East or this is logical. I said it's a little bit of both, but I'm gonna go with the logic. And to be honest with you, the Cowboys was more of I hate them more than the Eagles pick. The Eagles pick was definitely logical. Seen them, we both seen them past couple of weeks. They struggled. They were 1-5 down the stretch. Only went against the New York Giants by a badly called game at the end, and kind of led to my expectation. They got blown the doors off by the Buccaneers, and they advanced to the divisional round. But the Cowboys, though, heavily favored, especially after they beat Detroit by a nail-biter and controversial decision that has rang across the NFL down the stretch of the 2023 season. And they got the number 2 seed. They were at home where they have won 16 consecutive games, averaging 35 points a game. Point differential was extremely high. They were able to get turnovers. They played very fast on their home field advantage. And the path to the Super Bowl, once again, it was there for them. We talked about it, how, this team is very talented, but the Green Bay Packers said otherwise. They came in and pulled the upset of the playoffs by coming into Jerry's world and beating the Dallas Cowboys. So, let's go ahead and talk about it.
Shout out to my Cowboy fans. I have a ton of Cowboys fans after living in Dallas for so long. I have a ton of them. Shout out to them because I know that they, they're kind of getting over it, but they're still not getting over it. And I know my pick for the Cowboys was more so I can't stand them. But again, if you know the history, Green Bay is really their kryptonite. I don't know what it is. Even as a Aaron-less Rodgers at the QB helm, I mean, shout out to Jordan Love. When I say that man sit behind Aaron Rodgers and he took in everything, I was seeing sidearm throws looking like Aaron Rodgers. He was floating like the accuracy was just there. And I'm not gonna lie, if people really weren't paying attention to Green Bay, and if you weren't, and you kind of like, well, where did this Green Bay team came? They have been going down the stretch. They have been getting better and better and better and better. Again, I always said, and I said it last week, I don't like sneaky teams. I don't like sneaky teams who are quiet. I don't like sneaky teams who people don't really pay attention to. They may lose a game here or two, and they're like, oh, they're not going to do anything in the playoffs. No, those are the teams that you have to keep an eye out on for, because again, regular season and playoff is a whole different story. When you got different lights in the playoffs compared to regular season, you play when them lights come on. It seemed like everything that you were wanting to click during the season finally clicks in playoffs. And again, Green Bay looked very well. Very well. Shout out to Jair Alexander coming, even though he's injured, he still decided to play and made some great plays. Shout out to that pick too. So again, back to the Cowboys. We got to really figure out what it is with Cowboys. I know this is like a joke that's been passing around for years with Jimmy Johnson and Jerry Jones, that, now Jerry put him in the ring of honor, and that might have broke the curse. I don't think that's going to break the curse. I don't think that's not going to do it. I think it's just whatever it is that is stopping the Cowboys when it comes down to playoff season. They really have to find out what it is. We can blame the quarterback. We can blame defense. We can blame offense. We can blame the coaching. It is something that even though when Dallas gets it right, it's still wrong. So it is something that is there that Dallas cannot sincerely get over that hump. I don't know what it is. I don't know if they need to find another Troy Aikman. I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, Dallas needs to really find out, or we're going to be seeing this one and done in the playoffs, or not making the playoffs completely.
You know what I think it is, and some people might try to say you're extremely bugging because it's kind of about to say. Mm-hmm. I just think the pressure playing with that star in your helmet is extremely real. I truly think it's very hard because CeeDee Lamb, he's one of those guys. He's very quiet, but he'll show the energy on the field. But the moment the game started on their first possession, I knew something was off. When Dak was targeting him, and then you can tell something was not right with. I think it was like I think it's the moment. I'm not trying to say they're not huge for a moment, because a lot of guys have played in big moments. They come from big programs and stuff like Oklahoma, Mississippi State, USC. They come from these big programs, but I just think for some reason when it's time for that playoff run, they don't show up. They don't show up. I mean, I can say last year when they played the 49ers, I felt like they showed up because they had a great opportunity to win the game, but just 49ers were just the better team, and they lost by 8 points to the 49ers? I believe it was 12-19. So that was a good competitive game, but from the jump, this game, Green Bay Packers came in and punched them in the mouth, and Dallas was hesitating to punch back. Yeah,
I mean, it's again, we can look at it and say coaching. I know some of the Packer fans were they try to tell Dallas fans about Mike McCartney, he's just not that guy, not that coach. But we can go back and go look at Jason Garrett's tenure. We can go back and go look at that. I think this is something that is deep embedded with probably personnel. People not coming together, doing what they need to do. People, overlooking teams like Green Bay. Again, when you look at a team like Green Bay, they're sneaky. You don't sleep on sneaky teams. You prepare just like you were preparing for the 49ers. And I think with the Cowboys is when they get under those lights, it's almost like they shrink. Like, I guess you could say that they shrink in what they actually really technically do. And like you said, it off the jump, misreads, not connecting with the wide receiver. And that's another thing. I like CeeDee Lamb, but I honestly will always say that they still need another wide receiver. You can't like just keep targeting CeeDee. Like, you know what I mean? And then it just showed too, like, I don't know if Dan Quinn checked out, but Falcon fans try to tell the Cowboy fans about DQ, okay? We try to tell y'all about DQ. So, again, I'm not 100% sure where everybody was. I mean, we understand coaching. Some people are saying that Dan Quinn was legitimately on his way out the door. That's why he probably threw the game. I'm like, we said the same thing about Kyle Shanahan when we were in the Super Bowl, not running the ball at the end of at the end when we know we had the up on the Patriots. So, again, there is so many ways that you can legitimately say what the Cowboys' problem is, but I feel like it is something just embedded deeper. I don't really even think it's personnel. You got 13 win seasons. It's something deeper that's going on there. And I don't know if we'll ever kind of figure it out. But in the sense, you can add the pieces as we've seen. They added the pieces, they added the defense, they got a good defensive coordinator. You can say Mike McCartney is a good head coach, got a good offensive coordinator. What's the issue? What is the issue?
Now, I will say this, and this goes for all teams. Usually when a team has a weakness and it hasn't been really fixed, especially going through the season, it always shows up during the playoffs, and teams that are in the playoffs got great coaching, they will utilize that against you. And one of the biggest problems for Dallas has been, for as talented as that defense is and how fast they are, when they can't get turnovers, when they can't get the big negative plays, tackles for loss or sacks or pick sixes or game-changing turnovers, that's when these teams had their way with them. Also, in the run defense as well. Like, I think I've seen a stat out there, like majority of the sets and personnel, they had like 6 defensive backs. So Green Bay said, we're going to have 11. We're going to have 12 personnel. We're going to run the football with Aaron Jones, who's always had a great career when it comes to playing the Cowboys. And he had 100-some yards and 3 touchdowns. So exactly. I think that's also a thing that comes up well. But I think this loss, and, when we talk about it, like Twitter and social media, we're always going to point the players. But I also think the coaches have to have a hand in this loss as well, because they clearly got out-coached. I felt like some of the stuff that Dallas have been doing the whole year, I felt like they should have changed it up, because I felt like as if Joe Barry and his crew knew exactly what they were going to do, and with the slants and easy curl around, stuff like that, like they were on it.
They made it easy for Jordan Love. They really made it easy for him. And like I said, if you go back and look at the passes, them were Aaron Rodgers passes, but they made it easy for him. They literally didn't make that a hard game for him at all.
Yeah, it is ridiculous how he looks just like Aaron Rodgers, yo. Like he, from the way he's holding the football in the pocket, he's maneuvering all that, the play fake. I said, bro, he really learned under Rodgers. Like
he sat there and took his time and legitimately. And I like that. He was a sponge, and that you don't see a lot of that. You don't see a lot of QBs taking that time to do that, but he was a sponge. And you can tell, like, again, from the beginning of the season to now, you can legitimately tell that he grew. He really grew.
Yeah, and that game shocked me. It really shocked me, because if Green Bay was going to win, I probably thought it was a nail biter, or Dallas win in its by usual fashion. But 40 some points in Jerry's Road, and it was like 48-16, and the rest was garbage time stats, empty calories.
Yeah,
that was a beatdown. That was a beatdown and arguably the worst loss I've seen for the Cowboys in the playoffs. So now let's go and talk about Philadelphia. As once those problems show in the regular season, they always rear its ugly head come playoff time. And this Eagles defense, especially the secondary, it reared its ugly hair because Baker Mayfield had his way with this defense. 360 plus yards and 4 passing touchdowns and a beatdown as Tampa Bay also advances in the divisional round. And this is just a bad taste for the Philadelphia Eagles fans and the way they ended this season.
They should have kind of saw that coming. They should have really saw that coming because at the end of the day, you losing AJ Brown. I don't know what's going on. I really feel like the locker room is kind of messed up, to be honest with you, because you've seen on the sideline, you have the tight end and Jalen Hurts' face. And I just feel like I really feel like that gauntlet that they gave them, the NFL gave them a real tough test and they failed it. They failed it completely. Again, you can look at coaching, you can look at personnel, but those injuries came back and everybody wanted to say, hey, Hollywood. Everybody wanted to say, the Philly Dogs. And I'm not going to lie. Shout out to Nolan Smith for trying to trip somebody. That was the most funniest thing in the world. He really tried to trip that man. So, again, I would say this. Philly needs to go back to the drawing board and really figure out their defensive identity, but then they also need to go back to the drawing board and really figure out what they're going to do with offense. I don't know if it was a new, with the change of the offensive coordinator, with him changing, with Johnson coming in. I don't know if it's just like a disconnect. And sometimes it takes a quarterback a good little year to get used to a new OC. You know what I mean? I want to give them that, but then I don't want to give them that. But because it supposedly the system wasn't supposed to change technically since they, promoted from within. So I'm not 100% sure how much of effect that did have, or it just this year they just got exposed for what they didn't get exposed to last year. If that makes more so sense. But I just honestly feel that when we're looking at different things like that and we're looking at the Philadelphia Eagles and even comparing them to the Cowboys, you would say the Cowboys have a better roster. But again, with Philly, and we know Philly fans, they expect to be somewhere all the time. Ever since that Super Bowl win, they expect to be somewhere. So I think that their issue is they're going to have to look at their personnel. They're going to have to look at the personnel and figure out what type of identity that they're going to go into next season, specifically on that defense. I'm going to say offense is okay for right now, but that defense is where they're going to really have to look at, because I feel like they have an old defense and it's time to retire those players out at this point, because injuries are going to be a major concern from them going into next season.
Yeah, I agree. Mainly that secondary, it was really getting attacked. Some of the players were having a hard time holding up with the wide receiver core for the Bucs and just teams overall. I think one thing for the offense, though, I will say this: I feel like a lot of that is not really Brian Johnson's problem. I think I would actually blame Sirari, man. Like Nick didn't really put his hand and try to help these guys out. Like, I feel like the Eagles were doing way too much vertical passing and not enough dinking and dunking and moving the players around, like with motion, the determining coverage and stuff like that. I felt like they could have done that a little bit more and that could help, because it almost felt like I knew what they're going to do almost every single play. Every single play.
And I agree with this. I agree with Holly was saying. The middle of the field was open. It was open. I don't know if it's because they were missing AJ Brown that's why they didn't want to do it. Like, I don't know if with AJ Brown being off that do anything, but we know that we were seeing issues with AJ Brown before in the season of him asking to get the ball more. I mean, Smith did what he was supposed to do. He started coming alive.
He was the main offense.
Yeah, he was the main one besides Swift coming in second. But I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know if they were just sleep on the Bucks, if they thought they can beat the Bucks. I don't know. But again, Bucks defense is not that strong. It's not that strong of a defense like how we seen before with the Tom Brady era. So I'm not understanding why they couldn't attack that defense the way that they needed to attack that defense with the offense that they had. So I'm just, again, I don't know, but I do agree with Holly's, her first statement. The offense will be good with a new play with a new play caller, more than likely.
Yeah. So let me ask you this though, E, and I've been thinking about it as well. So with that being said, do you see them making extreme changes by getting 2 new coordinators as well? Because you're getting 2 coordinators on both sides of the ball. It's going to be almost the same thing, but you're trying to be better than what you did last year, right? So what would be an ideal fit for this Eagles team for OC to go after in a DC?
One, you have to play to Jalen Hurts' style. I think that's the main concern too, because when they had their old OC before he went to become the Colts head coach, he basically gave Jalen kind of, I don't want to say he gave him rings to the offense, but he worked in the offense in a way that made Jalen Hurts be efficient. And just to Holly's point, when they said that they had Miles last year and they had Swift, who was better, you can tell that they didn't know how to split the Jalen Hurts running compared to what they were doing with Miles Sanders last year and giving that more towards Swift. So I think there's no balance. Like, you want to use Jalen Hurts' leg, but I think you want to keep him more so in the pocket, use him more on bootlegs, play action. So you need you a coach who wants to kind of, in a sense, use him in that way. You know what I mean? But not make him run unless they're like design run plays specifically for him. Tell him, hey, don't do that. We got a running back that can run for you, and that can help out a lot. Yeah. But if we look at last year, Jalen was using his legs a little bit more because of Miles Sanders. So I'm just, again, you really have to figure out, because you don't have a lot of quarterbacks who want to, I don't want to say work with him, but I'll be honest with you. You're going to need an OC like a Todd Monken of what they got up there in Baltimore. You're going to need kind of like a Todd Monken OC for Jalen, because that's going to help him out a lot. You're going to need that. If you're going to use him to run, as you can see when Todd Monken was with Georgia, how he used Stetson Bennett, he used everybody and even used Stetson. If they want to keep Jalen using his leg, you're going to need a Todd Monken type OC. Now, DC, I don't know, because I don't even know I don't even know what kind of scheme that they were trying to do on the defense, especially with getting all my Georgia players. So I don't really know what they're going for.
It's a multiple front defense. They run some 4-3 and 3-4. Use a majority of the talent, is up front with Davis and Fletcher Cox.
I feel like they're going to build off of Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. Those were their 2 pick. I feel like they're going to build with that, while everybody else is going to be rotated out. But I feel like those are going to be their solid pieces that they're going to fit. And if anybody knows, Jordan Davis is a true nose guard. So I said nose guard, nose tackle. But you can say guard too. But some people want me to be technical. I ain't gonna say no names. But he's pretty much that true NT for real. Yeah. So again, you're gonna have to find ways to play him, or that was a wasted pick. Because don't get me wrong, we tried that when he was at Georgia, he did get played in other styles, but again, I still feel like his stamina is still just not there to be every down. So again, that's where you got a Jalen Carter to step in. But at the same token, I just need them to figure out what type of identity. I know, like you said, they play multiple, but you're going to have a strict identity, because again, your front 7 is only as good as your DBs are only going to be as good as your front 7. Okay. And that showed. You ain't got the DBs, and your front 7 ain't getting home like they need to get home. So I need that's one thing for me to even try to pick out a DC. I need them to find out what type of identity that they're going to have on that defense. Like, I don't think they just have that right now.
Yeah, I agree. Final thought on the Cowboys. So report come out I believe it was today. I don't know. I seen it skim through. I think they said McCarthy will be coming back next year. Are you surprised by that or no? Me personally, as much as
go ahead. No. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
Okay, so as much as I have heard, the dismay and stuff like that, everybody talking about McCarthy, I still feel like he ain't the greatest coach, but I think eventually he'll get over the hump. But I also think it's a team thing as well. Who would they hire? Belichick. Would you go with Belichick and stuff? I just
so the Falcons can now hire him. Just send him over there to do that. Or send him to the Eagles.
We're going to the coaches though. Hang on. We're going to get to that topic. But I just felt like, I just didn't find them really going to make that move. I really felt like Jerry was going to, at the last minute, just buckle down and said, he said, I'm going to give him another shot.
No, I feel like that was his son's move. I feel like his son basically made that move, made that call, because we all know Jerry would have said, cut, your time is up. But you don't want to go through the head coaching carousel right now because there's too many teams that have openings. So who's to say that you'll find the coach that you actually really want? You pretty much probably in their eyes, they know the situation of how they can get better. And they probably had that talk with McCartney and probably figured out ways that they could be better for next year. The thing is, I feel like this upcoming season, they got to do something. They have to do something. They legitimately have to do something, because you can't have 12, 13 win seasons and you go to the playoffs, and out of those 12 and 13 win seasons, Dak is now 2-5 in the playoffs.
Just like his predecessor.
Hey, I'm not going to say anything, but I told y'all before, that's Tony Romo 2.0, but I got backlash for that. But some Cowboy fans prefer to have Tony Romo back. But I'm like, hey, that's Tony Romo 2.0. I don't know what more you're going to get out of him. I don't know if his ceiling is already been reached and maxed. You're not going to get any more out of Dak. I'm sorry. People can have that argument that Dak is one of the best out of the best out of the league or whatever. Y'all can have that conversation. Y'all can have that. But the problem is, like I said, when Tony was there, I said, I like the stats on paper, Mr. Fourth quarter comeback king. I love that. But on the field, of what I'm looking on the film, I'm not seeing that. The stats ain't matching to what I'm seeing. And the same thing with Dak. The stats are not matching to what I am seeing. Because if you're this top-notch QB, I expect you to win at least 1 or 2 playoff games. Like, y'all get that same backlash to Lamar about Lamar not winning. I'm doing the same thing to Dak. He only got 2 underneath his belt. And Lamar came in after that. So again, I'm two underneath this belt. This whole the one I got a asterisk by is that you beat a Tom Brady last game. I'm about to retire, and my team is going through a nice little rebuild team. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was definitely going to bring that up. And another thing is, because my cousin, he called me and we were arguing and stuff on the phone after his team lost, Cowboys lost, stuff like that. Because I said, Dak is not an elite quarterback. He's arguably top 10. He's in that tier with the Kirk Cousins and stuff like that. But he puts up numbers. I know he's going to put up numbers. I know Dallas has the talent, but it's all about the postseason. And to be honest with you, like you said, outside of that Buccaneers game, early in the playoff success for Dak, I mean, not success, but like his play, he was good until down the stretch. The games you start watching him, he has not played well. He has been blah or just below average. And you've seen it on Sunday, like the offense was out of sync, couldn't really run the ball consistently, 2 interceptions, and one of them was a pick 6 that flipped the field. Like, Dak, it will always be top 10 in that consideration, top 10. It depends on how you listen, how everybody listen. But he has not played good outside of a freebie game. It was a freebie last year with Buccaneers. look, hey, you gotta play who's on the schedule. Like that's cool, but we can be completely honest. We knew that Bucks team was going to be free food for whoever was going to play them.
Yep, a lot of people called it. Even though you had the great Tom Brady back there, the team just wasn't where it needed to be. You know what I mean? It wasn't. And if it wasn't for the Panthers blowing it, they probably would have never been there last year, to be honest with you, because hey, the Panthers are right there on their tail. So again, I agree with Holly. It's time for a new era in Dallas. I really do. I really do believe that they just need a whole overhaul. I think Dallas just needs a new identity. They need everything. Just I hate to say it for them, but I'm like, y'all just want to start over because it's just not there. Like that's disappointment after disappointment after disappointment that you have these. You literally this year, I'll be honest with you, this was the closest year that I can ever say that I could literally see a Cowboys legitimately possibly being in the Super Bowl. If the 49ers messed up and Purdy couldn't do what he needed to do or whatever the situation may be, I felt it. You had the Eagles who were slumping down. You really didn't have that much competition legitimately in here besides Detroit and the 49ers. If you beat, even though it was controversial, even if you could beat Detroit again, you know, and then go over there and beat the 49ers after you learned the lesson from the first ass whooping that you got, you know, if you can learn that lesson and get it, this was like a good time that I could actually see them making it to the Super Bowl. And it was going to hurt me if I saw that. But I can't say that for next year. I can't say that.
Man, the way I had to stomach this year, I got all these kids, Cowboy fans, man. They talking trash to me every week. I just prayed on the downfall. This was the biggest year I prayed on the downfall I ever did in my life, man. And then it happened. It happened. Oh my God, I was so excited when they lost, bro. Oh man. But
all the Twitter was.
Let's get the hate out of my heart. We'll worry about it. But I will say this about it, end it off. I feel like they're too stubborn for a rebuild. That's just me personally. I'm not saying they don't need a new era because in actuality, if you look at the roster, you have to pay your big three. You got Dak Prescott, you got CD coming up for a contract, and you got Micah Parsons, and you got a bunch of free agents, young talented guys as well who could possibly go somewhere else and receive the bag. So it's gonna be possibly a brand new Dallas team unless they change the way how they do in free agency, try to get a little bit more aggressive, be better with their picks a little bit. I mean, they're pretty good with their draft picks, but it's going to be interesting to see how Dallas and Philadelphia look come next year.
Yeah, we gonna see all eyes on the NFC East next year.
As an NFC East, man.
All eyes.
So let's go ahead and give everybody the coaching updates with both of our teams. So I know. hey, look, I gotta tell everybody. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I was done testing. I come back, look at the group chat. I see Bill Belly had a second interview on the way. I said, and I texted before I even read the tweet. I said, hey, y'all, I just finished testing. What I missed? I said, oh, that's nasty. That's nasty. But, Lady E, tell us what are the vibes with A-Town with, you know, this guy possibly coming in. But I also seen you guys interview someone else as well.
Well, they're getting their people so they can go ahead and do the second interview because you know the running rule is still, because these are virtual interviews, that we have to still bring them in. So we have not met the running rule, so we can't officially hire this man, but we did bring two people in for in-person interviews, which was Jim Harbaugh and Bill freaking Belichick. So Bill got the second interview. I would think that Jim would probably get one as well, but yeah, he got the second interview, and that legitimately Falcons Twitter into a frenzy. Right now, we are divided as fans about wanting Bill Belichick. For me, my thoughts about it is this: a lot of people are saying that you don't turn somebody who won 6 Super Bowls down. Which one of them Super Bowls actually came against us? But whoop-de-woo. I get that. I understand that. I'm not a person that's going to turn my nose up at a winning coach. My thing about it is just like I'm talking about the Dallas Cowboys need to do a whole rebuild and stuff like that. We did that and thought we had that with Arthur Smith, and that didn't happen. So now it's really time. You got a good quarterback class coming in. You got an opportunity to get your QB of the future. Why not go probably get your coach? Our coaches only last in our organization at 3 to 5 years, literally. 3 to 5 years is our coach's length within our organization. One of our most winningest coach comes from Mike Smith. Again, the Falcons are not a winning team. Okay, we don't have the history of being a winning team at all for over 50 years. So yes, we shouldn't be turning our nose up to a Bill Belichick type coach. But in the same token, who's to say that this man is he's already 71 years old. Who's to say that this man is going to be coaching for another 10 years? Who's going to say that? You know what I mean? So again, what I don't want the Falcons to do is go get this, have success, and then go get another coach. And then we be like the Philadelphia Eagles, expecting us to win almost every single year and get mad when that happens. So like, let's start a slow rebuild and just rebuild and get to where we need. So let's go young, go get a coach that never been and let him learn, give him time to get what he needs to get the players, whatever. Because again, I get it. My owner is 81, just like Jerry Jones. Okay, he wants to win. He's been there, he tasted it, and he wants it again. I get it. You have Atlanta United, who has won an MLS Cup their first season as being a new MLS team. I understand that. But in the same token, when we're sitting down and we're looking at everything, this team does not have a history of winning. So why try to jumpstart that with getting a Bill Belichick? And then next thing you know, 3 years down the line, we're back doing this again, trying to find somebody again. And then we may end up with another Arthur Smith. And now we're back in this coaching carousel once more. So that's my take on it. I just prefer us to just make a slow rebuild and do it. Who's to say that we won't make the playoffs the first year we get our new head coach? Who's to say that? Who's even say that we won't do that with Bill? But in the same token, people want playoffs, talking about that we only had 2 winning seasons in 11 years. Well, I'm like, to be honest with you, we can be Miami Dolphins, who haven't been to the playoffs since 2000. Okay. Which have not been there, okay? Or we can be the Dallas Cowboys. We go to the playoffs every year and be 1 and done. Like, we can do that and be the laughingstock of the NFL too. The thing about it is we're not that bad off. We just need to take our time and quit trying to jumpstart it. That's my issue. I don't want us to try to jumpstart it and do it because, again, I had an owner who wanted to be a Jerry Jones and insert himself into the rebuilding stage, which caused us to lose Matt Ryan, which caused the organization to get set back a year when it came back to the rebuild. So it's a lot going on. We found out that Terry really is not our GM. We found that out too. So a lot of fans of other teams are finding out like, well, do Atlanta not have a GM? No, we do not. He's an acting GM, quotation marks, but he's not our official GM. So there's that. Welcome to the A.
So quick question. What is your biggest concern about Belichick that rubs you completely off?
If he doesn't win, he's going to retire. If he gets the record, he'll retire. Or if they plan to get him a Super Bowl and he doesn't do that in like 3 years, and I'm just saying 3 years, it could be 3 to 4 years, he'll retire. That's my fear. And yes, we are some sickos for hiring a man who calls a joke and a trauma. Somebody even said that man will be showing up to work every day at 3:28.
Oh man.
Yeah, get it.
Oh. That's nasty, bro. That is nasty. Okay. Let's reel it back in. What is one candidate that you would love to be the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons?
Yeah. So if we're gonna do anything, bring back somebody that's familiar with the organization. I like Raheem Morris. He did good when he was interim. The players played for him, and then he's, like I said, he's familiar with the organization. That's pretty much kind of how I look at it. I don't mind Jim Harbaugh coming in as well, or some of the newbies, like a Ben Johnson, or hey Jaja, I'm about to say this, or the Texans OC. Don't mind that. So again, if they're looking for a veteran head coach who has coached before, and that's kind of where I'm thinking that they're going, give me Raheem Morris or Jim Harbaugh. Give me one of those two. I don't want Bill. I know Holly was gonna get a joke. She's not gonna let me live that one down. That's my sissy. That's my sissy, but she's not gonna let me live that down.
Okay,
that's my sissy.
So for Washington, obviously, Adam Peters just got introduced as the new GM for the Washington Commanders this week. Love the press conference. Love the realism that he provided for the fan base and for the things he's planning to do. He's going to jump in now on the head coaching search, and talks so far from Jeremy Fowler, Dan Graziano from ESPN, and multiple people have been saying the front runner for the Washington Commanders is Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions. But I will say this, from other people I've been hearing, as much as they're saying he's a front runner, don't jump ahead of yourself to say that he's actually going to get the job. I still think due diligence needs to be done within this organization, because I don't want to hire a guy who's just going to call plays. We have to get a guy who's going to coach both sides of the ball and be a leader of men. Now, Ron Rivera was a leader of men. However, he was also had multiple responsibilities, which is why he didn't really coach until the last 5 games of his tenure with us this year. And yes, I'm being serious. He didn't coach to the last 5 games until his tenure this year. This guy had a lot of responsibilities within the organization from the past regime as talent evaluator, GM, player personnel, scouting, all that was on Ron Rivera's plate. And I think for us, for this new transition, I want to get a guy that can be both. I want a guy that can be a play caller, X's and O, and be a leader of men and motivate people. I've seen that with, the clip I saw today with D'Amico Ryans coaching up a young Christian Harris, who's also an Alabama alum, and told him instinctually what a quarterback is going to do on this play and give him the courage and confidence to say, you could do it. I know you can do it. That's the type of coach you want. And that's especially what I want in DC. So my ideal candidate, I know everybody's talking about Ben Johnson. I know everybody's talking about Bobby Slowick, who's also was part of that great staff. Well, not great staff. They were bad. We were 3-13. They were part of that infamous staff in 2013 with the Shanahans and McVays. Honestly, man, I would not be mad about defensive coach. I like defensive coaches a little bit more. Raheem Morris is definitely a name I would consider, but I still think about Mike McDonald from the Baltimore Ravens. This guy, he's from the Harbaugh tree. I seen him, when he was at Michigan. I seen him at Baltimore. His defense has been consistent. The Raven reviews from a lot of his players that he's coached with from Michigan and with the Baltimore Ravens, he's an energy ball. He's that guy in the room. That's something I like. I like guys in the room that demands attention, very attention to detail oriented. And to me, I think he would be an ideal choice for me if, everybody talk about Ben Johnson. But I like what Mike McDonald has shown. He's the same defensive coordinator that shut down that very Detroit Lions offense 38-6.
Yeah.
But nobody talks about that. We talk about Ben Johnson, being considered top 3, which that is good for him. But I've also seen this guy shut down some of the top offenses in the league. So I would love to have Mike McDonald as a head coach for the Washington Commanders.
So Holly has a question. Who do you draft with your pick if y'all go QB? You want to repeat RG3 or Drake? So with you wanting a defensive-minded coach, who do you think the defensive-minded coach will go for?
Well, typically, stereotypically, they would usually go to guys that that play within the structure of the offense, and I probably think it'd be Drake May. Drake May to me has the higher floor. I mean, he can come in instantly play, have some success. But Caleb Williams, we all know he definitely has the higher ceiling and what he can be and what he could do in the NFL. To be honest with you, we're our top 2 pick right now at number 2. I love the top 3 quarterbacks in the draft. I haven't really dive in yet because I've been keeping up with Washington and haven't really watched college football to that extent this year. But from what I've seen, clip wise, I like all 3 quarterbacks. I watched Jaden Daniels when he was at Arizona State. Drake May, he came and replaced Sam Howell. And Caleb Williams, everybody's DC prodigal son. He came from DC and played at Oklahoma. Now he USC, won the Heisman Trophy, and that's what everybody likes.
Okay. We got to trade up. We're in a tough position for us. Sitting over here at the 8th pick, so we gotta make some shake. But shout out to them Jags, just re-sign Calvin for us, and we get a 2nd round pick. And Chicago, please release Justin. Just so we can, we don't have to do all of that. So, yeah. I'm just saying we're in a tough spot. So I don't know what we're gonna do with ours. A lot of them want to trade up and go get the quarterback that we want, but we'll see. We'll see what the Falcons do. I think it's a lot pending on our coach.
I feel like if it's not Ben. I feel like if it's Belichick, he want a vet.
Don't do that.
I'm not even trying to joke like this.
I hope they keep Russell. This just got me all depressed.
Look, all depressed. I don't know why. I see him just like, I'm gonna get a vet and we're just gonna go smooth land and we're just gonna cruise through the season.
I'm gonna cruise.
If you're trading up, more likely you probably want to trade. To me, I think Drake May would be good in Atlanta.
A lot of people want Drake May. A lot of people want Drake May in Atlanta, but the problem is he's going to be that top 3. We got to find a trade partner to go do that with. And the only person that we can think of that we can do that with is the Cardinals. And we know the Cardinals are going to ask for a lot.
Yeah, because I think they want Marvin Harrison.
Mm-hmm.
RG3 is Daniels, hit faster, although he does late passes, but he can progress. Okay. Just another comment too. I think Ben is overrated just a tad bit. Sometimes the Lions can't score after the second. You know what?
But can we look at that as a Jared Goff thing though?
Or we can look at it as Raheem Morris thing too. I mean, Raheem Morris has something to do with them shutting down their offense.
Yeah. I mean, where are we actually rating Jared Goff? Like, where are we rating him compared to all the other quarterbacks? Is he a top 10 or top 15?
I'll say 10 to 14.
Okay. So I mean, when we're saying that, can we not say that, I mean, again, can we not say that Jared Goff that can contribute to him not being able to do anything, or lose his confidence?
You can. Can't believe he's catching strays right now, but
I mean, hey, he in the playoff. I'm just saying. No, Holly, now let's go Ruckers or Cousins. See, that's why y'all got stuck with Derek Carr. We're not gonna do that. Like, yeah, Bill doesn't trade up. He does trade back. We're at a freaking. I'm depressed again. Give me the crying Jordan face right now. Seriously, give me the crying.
Yo, how are you going to end if defense?
She does this. I'm used to it. She does this.
Does the offense doesn't move?
Okay, I can see that. See that. Lack of creativity. I can count that to it. He doesn't have that creativity after the first half. can't really scheme up good plays against what he knew that wasn't working in the first half. We can say that that's probably something that he's going to have to work on. Or maybe the Detroit really don't have the personnel too. I mean, probably some injuries. We got to think that they did have a couple of injuries in that offense this season. So maybe he's probably looking for bigger and better to help him scheme a little bit better. There could be a lot of factors that go into that, but I can understand that the offense doesn't move.
Yeah, I agree. So let's go ahead and talk about the long shots for this playoff run. We have Houston Texans, we have Detroit Lions, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Green Bay Packers. Out of these teams, which one you think has a real shot of getting to the Super Bowl?
Let's see here. I'm going to count out Tampa Bay. Holly, I already know why I want to count out Tampa Bay. We don't want to see
Yes, we have.
I say Tampa Bay last. I'm going to put Houston there, and I don't know if Jaja's still here. Houston has a good opportunity, but the thing about Houston is I feel like it's because they're still young a little bit. This will be a good experience for them with this. And I'm not saying that Houston is bad, because we didn't think Houston was even going to make it one this far, let alone that Houston was going to actually go out there and beat I just forgot who they played. Who they play?
Houston played the Browns.
Okay. But well, never mind. Well, y'all criticized me the last time because you said the Browns had a defense, but I'm just saying. But for them to beat the Browns the way they did with that defense, right, then yes. Here's where it gets hard between Detroit and Green Bay. And this goes back to
you got Green Bay up there.
Huh?
Ain't Green Bay young?
Yeah, Green Bay is young, but here's the thing with Green Bay. Look, this is the thing with Green Bay.
Okay.
I feel like even though they're a young team, they still got some veteran presence on there. Okay. They still got that veteran presence on there. I feel like LaFleur is a great head coach. I just feel like with the injuries that kind of set them back, if they can go into this game and be healthy, I can see things. Now with Detroit, it goes back to what Holly was saying earlier. I need Dan Campbell to play to coach like this. Dan Campbell just coached this past Sunday. I need him to do the same thing. I need him to repeat it, because Dan can get ahead of himself a little bit, and Dan can outcoach his own self. That's my main concern when it comes down to Detroit. Offense doesn't move. How much confidence do people, let alone how much confidence does he have in himself and Jared Goff to get past this? Okay, he's been there before. I'm not gonna say he hasn't been there before, but this is a whole new team, whole new OC, whole new coach, whole new organization compared to when he did it before. Then that defense is rocking, but they be sometimey. They have shown inconsistencies over the course of the season as well. So that's what concerns me with Detroit. Now, where Green Bay comes in at is that when they start, like for them, they built their way up. And then it seemed like it came together when they played the Cowboys. Because that was the most consistent I've seen Green Bay this whole entire season.
They were the hotter team.
Exactly. And remember when I said about sneaky teams, Green Bay is that sneaky team you got to watch out for. Because you can't trust them in a sense. You can't trust them. You can't just, I ain't gonna say trust them. You can't sleep on them. You can't sit over there and just look past them and think that because they're a young team. Now, only reason why, because I know Jaja said I love being doubted in the underdog. Jaja, I'm gonna tell you this. I love that the Houston Texans are showing that what you can do with a first-year head coach, with a young QB, a rookie at that, and a young team. I love that. But as we get deeper into the playoffs, that you got to think of the experience. You got to think of it. Sometimes the lights can get too hot and they can be too bright for a young team, especially moving when they already weren't supposed to be there. But if the Houston shocks me again, If they shock me again, then we can have this conversation again. I'm just being honest. I love what Houston did. I love it, but again, we got to be realistic here. But I love Houston though. I still love Houston. I love what Houston did. I love that what CJ Stroud is doing. I love what D'Amico Ryan is doing down there. He's encouraging these boys. He's coaching these boys up and different things like that. But sometimes them lights get too hot. They get too hot. And Holly, I'm playing on their downfall too. I'm very much playing on their downfall. Go. But again, that's why I said Green Bay and the Lions, they're both together for me. Like they can, both of them can go. I will give the nod a little bit more to Detroit just because of a little bit more of just a little bit. I guess I could say I can trust Dan Campbell just a little bit more, but I don't feel like they can win at all. But it's gonna come down to who can really beat San Francisco. Let's just be real here. Who can really beat San Francisco? Same thing with the AFC. Who can really beat Baltimore? That's the problem. Who can really sit there and beat Baltimore to get past Baltimore? If not, we're gonna have another San Francisco 49er and Baltimore Ravens Super Bowl.
Yeah. Man, this is tough. So I will agree with you with the Bucks. I do feel like they are the one team that they kind of got blessed. They last year the Cowboys blessed them, took them out the playoff round because they are a non-efficient team. I think this year, playing the Eagles, they were a non-efficient team. But I think, they're going to have a hard time with the Lions. Man, this is tough, bro, because it's like, to me, Houston and the Packers are very similar, right? Young starting quarterbacks, young teams. Both of them had great solid performances, by the way. Mm-hmm. The Packers do have playoff experience, so I will put that over the Houston Texans, but I feel like the Texans are like this team of destiny. I feel like they're this team of destiny. Like, I will not be shocked if they go into M&T Bank Stadium and beat Lamar Jackson's and the Ravens, bro.
No, that's why I said if they can beat them, that, like I said, I'm like, if they can beat them, we can have this conversation again. Seriously, I will not back down from that conversation with the Houston Texans. Like, I have faith in them, but again, sometimes we have seen the lights can get too bright. Sometimes the panic can come over the face if you're down 2 to 3 scores. You see what I'm saying? Especially for a team, like you said, is a little bit younger than what people want to realize when you have kind of like not that much veteran presence. That's why I just give the nod a little bit more to Green Bay because of that. Other than that, if they can go in there and do that, I love it. I love it for them. That's the Cinderella team. We love Cinderella teams in the NFL, just like we love them in college basketball and everything like that. We love those Cinderella stories. I love it. I would love that for Houston. If Houston can go over there and go beat Lamar Jackson, now we get to have a conversation about Lamar.
Oh my heart ain't gonna take it this week. But I agree with all your points actually in that order. I do think Detroit has the higher possibility of having that chance to get to the Super Bowl, the offensive line, defense. I think they can play good enough. I really think it's all about, like you said, if Jared Goff plays within the system and doesn't have those pressure impacted turnover plays.
Yeah, the turnover battle is going to be what's going to help keep Detroit in. If they lose that turnover battle, that's it. You know what I mean? So that means Jared Goff got to kind of, in a sense, play a perfect game. Like you have to make the right reads. You can't double think. You can't overthink, because again, we all know that the 49ers eats off of that. We all know that. So again, if the Texans, and I do agree with this, the Texans do have a defense that can mess with the offense of the Ravens. That's what I said. I'm not shutting them down, but the problem is just how bright of a light that's going to be for DeMeco Ryan, and then how much of that's going to be a bright lights for CJ. That's the thing. He was cool, calm, collected, playing at home. You know what I mean? Playing at home, playing in front of the home crowd, getting your first playoff win. I need you to be settled. I need you to sit over there and I need you to literally be focused, in tune, because again, we all know the Ravens defense ain't no joke. They've been consistent all season. We know that.
So
and Jaja said Stroud don't believe in house money, so I'm good.
He don't believe in house money, cuz. Hey, so with that being said, let's go ahead and get these picks in, man.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Let's go kick off divisional weekend. If this thing's not freezing up on me. Okay, it should be up here now. Okay. Oh, I'm so torn, bro. I'm really torn on all these games this weekend. So Texans go into Baltimore once again. Week 1 was week 1. That wasn't the same Ravens offense that the Texans played, but it wasn't the same Houston offense that the Ravens played.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, last week I said my heart said CJ Stroud masterpiece, but for some reason my mind was saying the Browns. I disrespected CJ. I disrespected Bobby.
Yeah, and you did.
Ryan.
You did. You did, because I showed did say my heart going with Texans. I'm rolling with Texans.
But here's where the problem comes with my heart. My half of my heart says CJ Stroud masterpiece on the road against the Ravens. But the other half says Lamar Jackson, go get this ring for the real N-words. Get it for the real naysayers. Get it for the real naysayers, man. I'm so torn this week. For the first time on Enter the Lab podcast, I'm going with a tie.
You go with a tie.
I can't do it, yo. I love these guys so, but I'm so torn.
This is gonna be a good. This is really gonna be a very probably high tuned in game, to be honest with you. That's why I said lights. You can't. The thing, like you said, you can't. It's hard to pick against them because you want both of them to succeed. You really do. You want it for Lamar. You want it for CJ coming in, being a rookie. You want it for him. You know what I mean? Jaja made a good point. Well, first let's start with Hollywood. Hollywood said no Marlo week 1 was his first game. I think CJ came into his own and the game would be better and closer than what people think. One slip up and CJ got the ball last, they can win it. I do agree with that. I do agree with that. I believe again, we seen that when CJ played against my Georgia Bulldogs. He could have won it. He could have won it as long as the kicker hit the field goal. He could have won it. So I agree with that. And even with Jaja saying we just need to pass protect better and limit big plays on defense. Like, again, Mark Andrews is back. For the Baltimore Ravens, they put him back. They so he's been working in the system again. Todd Monken, I love him. I wish he would have stayed at Georgia, but that offense has been clicking and turning with the Baltimore Ravens. I'm with you. My heart wants to give it to the Texans so bad. Like, I want the Texans to do it. I want them to. But if Lamar does, I need Lamar to go out and win it all. I need him. If he beats the Texans, I need Lamar to go out, and I really need him to go win it all at that point. I really do. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna skip this one and I'm gonna come back. I can't pick it right now. I can't pick that one right now. Like that one, I can see it being so close to where it's really gonna come down to a field goal. That's how close I'm seeing it right now. So yeah, let's come back to that one because I gotta think. I gotta think. Like think. Ooh, and that's a Saturday game too. Why can they play on Sunday? Jesus. So Green Bay versus San Francisco. This is another one where it's kind of like, whoo.
To be honest with you, I want the upset.
I do too. I don't. Okay. I don't know about Brock Purdy as of yet. I know everybody is confident in Brock Purdy and they feel like Brock Purdy can do it, but we didn't get it. We were robbed last year with his injury of how he can actually really play in the playoffs. We were really robbed.
I got a question before you even say it. Do you think the Packers can repeat what they did last week with the Dallas offense to this 49ers offense?
The thing about but you can't scheme easy for the 49ers though. You can't scheme easy for that. I feel like LaFleur just knew Dan Quinn's weakness on that Dallas defense. I don't know if he can do the same thing with that with the 49ers defense. I want the upset, but I'm just gonna go with the safe bet. I'm gonna go with the 49ers.
I'm going with the 49ers.
I'm gonna go with the 49ers on that one. Yeah. Next one, Bucks and Detroit. I'm going Detroit. Whoop the Bucks ass. They don't deserve to be there.
We know why you say that. We know.
Yeah.
I understand it. But if Ben Johnson, if he's going to impress me, I would love for him to already come and possibly get it done and interview and become the next head coach. But I still need a little bit more to be desired for this office. So this is another resume game. I mean, if he gets into the interview,
he has to do this because I think this is going to determine if he gets second interviews or not. Because he already interviewed with a couple of people, so this would definitely determine with that.
So I'm gonna go with C. Henry's Lions, and they get the dub against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Exactly.
And now this is another nail biter. Oh my God.
KC and the Bills. I hate to say this. And Jody, I love you.
Oh,
love you.
I know you're not going there.
I love you. Mahomes having to play on the road.
What?
He has to play on the road.
What?
I feel like something just came over me and just said something ain't gonna go right, and the Bills gonna come out and win. And I hate to say that. Oh, I need to wash my mouth. Jesus.
Oh my God. Well, I'm like your boy Jaja. They clipping this, and probably Bill's clipping this too.
Again, something just came over my body when I said it that it was just like it just like my spirit just said nah, bruh. Because I sure was going for KC. I sure was going for Andy Reid. I love me some Andy. If y'all don't know me, I love Andy Reid. I love that man. I love Big Red. I love Big Red. They're playing in the cold. I know they played in the cold before, so and they won. They won in the cold. And we all knew Miami wasn't gonna last up there in some wind chill. We knew that. We knew they were gonna last in no wind chill. Now you're going to Buffalo again. You're on the road. Mahomes doesn't have the comfort of his home playing at Arrowhead, and yeah.
Okay, so
and that hurts to say that. Like, okay. And look, see, even Holly said, "Give me the Bills." I think it's their time. It's something like Holly. Something just legitimately came over me when I said it. Just was like, it ain't gonna happen this year. It's just not. I love Casey. I love it. It just it wasn't. I don't feel it this year. I don't feel it this year.
Solid points. Patrick Mahomes' first true road game in a playoff setting at the Bills. Bills caught fire last stretch of the year. If for those who have not been watching Enter the Laugh, it was me and C. Henry against Lady E when it came to the Buffalo Wild Wings crew. And We fought tooth and nail. We almost lost, but they somehow found a way to get in the playoffs and got the number 2 seed. I think
the Jags for that.
I think the biggest thing is can the Chiefs have a repeat performance with some of their playmakers last week?
Yes.
You know, Rashid Rice, he has been exceptional. Pacheco running the football, keeping the first down, and the yardage is easier for Mahomes. Mahomes doing his magic. Hopefully, Kelsey can get out this swift dump of him dropping the ball on early downs. This is the second time I've seen him on the first pass play. They throw him the ball, he drops the ball. I'm like, what is you doing?
Consistency has been there all year. Like, I think I love KC too. I love them. I love Chiefs Kingdom. I love Mahomes. I love Andy. I love Kelsey. I hate even doing this.
I'm sorry.
Go brush my teeth after this and rinse my mouth out because I hate picking them.
I think we're going to be split, and if they win, I'm cool with it because I was fighting for these boys on this channel, but I'm going with Kansas City. I'm going with Kansas City. We're going to have Patrick Mahomes versus Lamar Jackson. Well, wait, no, I gave the pick. No, oh God, I gave the pick. No.
You got Kansas City against Lamar Jackson. So that means.
Oh my God, I was thinking in my head. Oh my
God. He got Kansas. You already said it. He got KC versus Baltimore Ravens.
Oh my God.
Got that.
I did not want that to happen. I'm gonna get cooked.
I already kind of got, like, to be honest with you, I kind of think the Bills go against Baltimore, and I feel like Baltimore kicks it, but I still have my faith in the Houston Texans. I really do. I still, again, I'll say it like this for this pick. I'm just going the logical reason with Baltimore Ravens as the pick, but my heart, my soul, my everything really wants the Texans to do it. So I really want the Texans to win, but logical Baltimore. Sorry.
So, okay. So I'll say this though, regardless, the AFC Championship game, you're going to get a top tier QB matchup, regardless of age.
Yeah.
You can have Mahomes versus Lamar versus Allen, or you can get CJ Stroud versus Mahomes / Josh Allen. Those guys have been the best quarterbacks in that conference this year. Right. I'm honest with you.
And Jaja, you should be proud of your team. You should be proud of you should literally be proud of your team because nobody didn't have your team coming out of the division. Nobody didn't think this. Yeah, nobody didn't have your team doing anything. Nobody didn't consider the Texans in nothing. And for the Texans to win the games that they won, beat the Browns, which they supposedly had the number 1 defense in the AFC or in the NFL. I don't know which one it was, but you beat a team that legitimately had a lot of vets. You beat a veteran quarterback. You got a rookie QB out here looking like he's a 3-4 year freaking vet. Be proud of that. Even win, lose, or draw, be proud of that because y'all did a season that nobody didn't expect, and then y'all are finna run that AFC South. Like, seriously, y'all give it even probably next year. But y'all are gonna be in consideration for a lot of things.
So I could be proud when you see lock in. I like his energy, bro.
I like it. I like Jaja gonna ride for them. He gonna ride for them Texans, boy. He gonna ride for them Texans. I love it.
Okay, so those are picks. Next week about to be hilarious. I'm just telling you that right now.
Oh, yes. I can't wait to see Henry come back because Henry gonna be like, "Look, I had them too.
Okay, so that's all we got for today on Enter the Lab podcast. It's your boy DT. We got Lady E. He loves C. Henry, so we can talk about these Lions. With that being said, this is the end of the show. Enter the Lab podcast presented by Red Zone DC Media. And we will see you guys next Thursday. And y'all have a great night.